Hello. Happy Thick Thigh Thursday, y'all. Um, as always, I am excited to chat with you. Just get set up. Thank you for your patience. Hi. Hi, everybody. Um, yes, thank you. Yes, so I am Saisha. I am Thick Thigh Yoga, as always. And every Thursday, unless there's something else going on, I come talk to you, right? Today, as usual, we are talking about things that are yoga related, confidence related, but today we are honestly taking a deep dive into Seisha, into me, into my life, into my situations. If you have been around for years, then you know several of these things, maybe not everything. And if you don't, right, if you haven't been around for long, hi. Um, Welcome, right? You're going to learn some things today about how I operate, how I got here, why and how I do what I do, including getting into yoga and honestly leaving my job, all the things. So, first things first, please share the live. That is the first thing I will ask you to do anytime. If you are trying to figure out how to support me or any other creator or any other business owner that you know or support someone in general, share their stuff, right? I don't personally feel like I create the kind of content. Thank you for sharing immediately. Thank you, Alondra. Thank you so much. Right. If you share, you are supporting and it costs you nothing, right? But it allows people like me to do the things that we do. Gotta plug this in. Hold on. You're gonna lose me soon if I don't. Thank you. I see the shares. I appreciate you. Right. And so that is the way you can support for free always. If you ever question it, I don't know what to do. Maybe I can't afford to do XYZ. You can afford to share. That's really it. Um, okay. So I went, so I'll take a step back. So yesterday, if you follow me on Instagram, you saw in my stories, I shared, hi, thank you. Hey Courtney, thanks for being here. Hey. Um, Thank you for checking in, right? So if you saw in my story yesterday, I attended a women's summit called at the Luminary, right? It was a leadership summit, and I got to meet with all these amazing women. And honestly, it was mostly built for like corporate. So if you are a corporate woman, which is honestly my fairly ideal client, right? If you are a woman in corporate in business, you um have that kind of job, a stressful job, and honestly, at this day and age, everything is stressful, right? The Luminary is a great resource for you to check out. If you're an entrepreneur, is also still a great resource for you to check out. I will be at more things, so hopefully I'll see you there if you're around. And they have virtual events too. Right. So again, this is me sharing them because they did a great job. But one thing that they did was talk about like your story, talk about like your experience. It's not necessarily um, just what people know and what they have seen. It's more going into like, okay, so how did you get here? How did this happen? And something, I mean, I try to tell my story, I try to tell things, but I also know that I don't go too deep and I don't go too far back. Thank you for the new follows. Hi, everybody who's just brand new here. Right. And so it's all about where you come from. It's all about where you come from, what life you started to live, and then like the things that have happened to you along this road, right? So first things first, I want you to drop where you are checking in from, where are you watching from, where are you participating in our live from today. Um, I know, like, I have a pretty big following in New York because I'm from here. I also made some friends in Florida, so I always have people from Florida popping in. And then for some reason, specifically on TikTok, I have like a big following in Texas. We got ATL, hey girl, right? And so our friend here from ATL is also going to be in Colombia with us in less than 3 months. I'm excited about that. Um, Arkansas, hey Leslie, New Jersey, Beth in New Jersey, um, Piscean Diosa, Central Valley, California. Hey Callie, it's a little early for you. Hi, ooh, I miss people. Hey boo. Okay, and we've got Tobias checking in from Germany. That's awesome. Hey Tobias. Uh, so thank you for everybody from wherever you're coming in. I appreciate you. Um, so like I said, it's all about where you're from, right? So I, Saisha, I'm a Queens girl, born and raised, lived in Queens, lived in Brooklyn. I have now lived in Florida and Orlando, and now I'm back in New York. And honestly, I'm a New York girl. I've realized that like New York is home, home. Like I feel good about being here. And I feel good about being here. I feel good about the space, and it's weird, right? Oh, Olivia, thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Um, Olivia from Birmingham. That's right. Shout out to Alabama. Okay. And so I am a Queens girl, and I've learned that like city is my life. Like I don't like I would not have moved to Tallahassee. I did move to Orlando. So it's about choices, it's about options, and that is not the choice for me. That is not the option for me. Yes, thank you for the new people coming in. Please make sure you are sharing the live, sharing it with anybody you think could use the information. Because so one question that a lot of people ask me is like, was I always confident? And I put up a post today. If you saw it this morning, oh, I forgot to put it on YouTube. Y'all gotta be on me, okay? Please be my team. I did not put it on YouTube, but I did put it on TikTok and Instagram. So if you saw it, and it was just kind of like expressing, it's a trend. Yeah, you're funny. I am funny, but yeah, of course I'm funny because I was told I was fat growing up all the time. Fat and funny looking, right? Like, so I am from Southside Jamaica, Queens. And I promise you, like a lot of the rap songs are fairly accurate. Um, just so we're clear. And so I didn't grow up necessarily looking like people around here. So I did stand out. I am mixed. My mother is Chinese. The woman who birthed me is Chinese. And people ask me that all the time. Hey, and thank you, Miss Honeydew, for the gifts. I appreciate you. Hey, who is this? Mother of three pearls. Hello, darling. How are you? Thank you for the likes. I appreciate you. Um, all right, so I don't have a relationship with the Chinese side of my family. I say that all the time. It's weird now too, right? Like now dating again because I've been dating, right? Dating again and having conversations with people. I am constantly explaining this, right? And so I realized that like I'm explaining and I'm telling this story and I'm talking to people. Um and oh shoot, I missed you in Michigan. Hey Michigan. Um so I dating and telling my story and talking about like who I am, my background, things like that all the time. I realized like honestly, there's men that I didn't even get to a full date with that know a little bit more about my background than some of y'all that'll be here every week. So I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to bring it up and I wanted to like really share things that may have been missing. Shonda, thank you so much for the gifts. Y'all are really in here. Listen, TikTok is killing the game. TikTok was like, look, we needed to be here. We wanted to hold on to it. So we're gonna participate. And I appreciate you. Um, thank you. Alexis. Thank you, Alexis, for the gifts. Shonda, you see my videos before. Beautiful. I'm so glad. Right. And so today we are talking, like I said, about like my background. So again, starting at the beginning, right? Like I was not confident as a child, as a younger person. And so I'll say this. It has been through cycles. It has been cycles because I really, as a small child, I absolutely was. Oh, seven, seven. Oh, your name is so interesting. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate you. Um, right. So I have gone through waves. I've gone through waves of just being a small child and fairly confident in my level of intelligence and my physical abilities, right? I have always been this. I did dance class, I did gymnastics. I grew up in the 90s. There was the war on drugs. They put our daddies in jail, so they gave us free programs. And so I got to do dance class and gymnastics and swim class for like reduced prices. And that was how my grandma got on. I got along with things like that's how she made it work. I was raised by my great grandma, who was one of the most amazing people ever to walk the earth. But I also grew up during the height of diet culture. right? So anybody else or my 90s babies, raise a hand, right? If you and that might be specifically why you're here as a follower on my page, as somebody who follows me, right? That yeah, a bunch of likes there, right? That diet culture was a killer, okay? Like we were told all the time how fat we were, how bad that was. And how wrong we were for doing that, for existing while fat. Yes, you remember that? And like it's not untrue at this point either. Thank you for the likes. We're almost at 1,000 likes on Instagram, y'all. I mean on TikTok. Instagram, step it up, y'all. Come on. We no, I'm just kidding. I appreciate you being here. Definitely remember that, right, Miss Honeydew? So that's the thing. That was our life. That was something that we went through a lot. We were dealing with just so much conversation around our bodies and basically how they're wrong, right? I remember having to weigh in front of everybody in the gym. So, trick on that one. I used to slide the thing all the way to the end. So it was at like 350 pounds. And then I was like, can you weigh me in the back? And they would do it. So hopefully they handle this better now. I don't know. I haven't been a high schooler since then. So, but yes, embarrassing, right? Like it was just so many things that they would do that make you also feel ostracized, make you feel othered. And because you had a bigger body. Our clothes. I keep talking about this. Like people talk about how like cute I dress and the things that I wear now. And I'm like, because these options didn't exist. I remember being like 12 years old dressed like Hillary Clinton. Like why do I have a skirt suit on? Because this is my only option for a skirt, right? I shouldn't look like this. I shouldn't be dressed like this. Hey, we made our gift goal for TikTok. Thank you. That doesn't mean that you should not stop gifting. Okay. But right, that was the situation. And yes, you had to shop at Lane Bryant too. I had to shop at Lane Bryant. And I'm 12, 14. Like these are not the clothes for me. I'm about to turn 35 this year. Some of their clothes still don't look like they're for me. Like it just doesn't make any sense. It's just and then now it's just because like my life is very unserious. But right, big body clothes for kids was absolutely terrible. The options were useless. This is also part of the reason why my cousin and I know how to sew so well, because we had to kind of make our own options, create things. Even I remember my college graduation dress, altering that and having to alter. And it was like that was when things were starting to kind of create some options. Like it was kind of cute, but I still had to figure it out, hook it up, because it just things to compliment us. It was like, no, what do you mean compliment? There is no compliment. You are over 148 pounds. God forbid, right? Florals and stripes. That's it. And oh my God, these cold shoulders. Why do they still make cold shoulders? Who likes this? Tell me who. I need to know who is in the room that's like, you know what they need? Whom? Whomst? Who is doing this stuff? But anyway, I digress, right? Why? Why? Why do they make these, right? So yeah, like that was the kind of options that we had. It was terrible, whack, like so whack. Now things are, like I said, just the options have opened up so much more, and it is highly appreciated, right? Like there's options, you can be cute, you can do this, you can do that. And then also like it was so much fear of like, because I'll wear baggy stuff, I'll wear loose stuff now, but there was so much fear of like looking bigger, that like I didn't want to do that. And that was the thing. Cause God forbid, you already telling me I'm terrible for being this size. I can't be any bigger visually. God forbid. Right. Which is hilarious, honestly, because now what I do, right, is literally help women take up space, literally help people find more space in their bodies, take up more, open up, and and I'll be out there doing yoga on the beach in my bikini, like I don't care. And like that's the thing too, right? This is how I went from not being able to find things that I thought were cute, that I thought were flattering, as a when I was young, all the way up until like I said, not that long ago. Like maybe when I started teaching, I started to find things that were like kind of cute because it was like appropriate. I was looking like an adult. But it was still a struggle. You still got to rush to get whatever sizes you want. Um, and to go from that to now, last year, me creating a swimsuit line that runs from size 2 extra small to 6XL, right? Like the options are there. I just have always chosen to be it, apparently, right? So as I mentioned, my grandma, when she hate me for saying this. When I started changing my grandma's diapers was exactly the moment that I realized that this is her body. This, most of it. She gave me this. This passed right on down, right? So the body that she was attacking me for, the body that she was shaming me for, the body that she was trying to convince me to lose weight from was also her body, right? Same thing. And it's crazy to acknowledge that, but I got to acknowledge that in a certain time, and a space that I was able, like I said, to really like get it together, to understand. Playing with that money heavy is the number two gifter. Okay, I mean, you playing with that money that heavy, you should be the number one gifter. I'm playing. Thank you. But yeah, so I remember like her trying to basically convince me that I shouldn't want to be fat, that we should do something about this emergency situation, right? And that was also part of the reason I was in dance. I was in gymnastics, I was in swim class, I was in these things like shoes, I was in camp running around always. And like, clearly, y'all, I do a lot. She was also shamed, right? That's exactly it, right? I do a lot because I can, because like this is what my body does. The reason, and so we're jumping quite a bit, but when I graduated from, when I got my master's, when I got my master's degree, which was, this was a huge jump. We went up from childhood. But when I got my master's, that was when the first time I got to sit down. I got my master's at 25, right? Like I went to school straight through. So when I finally got that degree, I got to sit my ass down. And that was the first time I got to sit down in God knows how long, right? Like I pretty much ever. Like I said, I did all the things. I went to school. I went to school in the city. I was out, this, that, and the other. And so I had like commutes and I would walk all the time, because I'm a teenager trying to walk down Jamaica Avenue and be seen by boys and whatever. So I did a lot of movement, and so that was the first time I got to sit down, and I was driving by then and all that, and then I put on some weight. Um, and then I took a trip with my school because I was a teacher, right? I was a school teacher at that time. I taught middle school math at that point in time. I moved on to high school after. We'll get there. Um, but I graduated from school. I got my master's degree. And like I said, I had put on some weight. I was also in a relationship with my ex-husband at the time. We had started dating when I was in my first year teaching. So we dated for a few years, and then we got married the year after I got my master's. Um, well, the winter after I got my master's. So the winter when I was 25. And honestly, I somebody tell them that I'm talking about him, I guess, but I don't care. It was an unhealthy relationship with food that was happening there, right? And a lot of people have an unhealthy relationship with food, and that's also, thank you, Techno Pirate. Um, that is also part of the reason why um, his health failed, and his health failed, and he has gone through and continues to go through the things he goes through. And I've honestly had a pretty decent relationship with food for most of my life. That was a point in time where it was shifted and it was off. It wasn't good for my body either, right? So finding my way into the gym after that, I started working out, and then I also saw the thank you, Camila, welcome. Um, we also saw, like I said, the change in my body, the lack of ability. I didn't like it, right? So that was my cue to get into the gym, to get into a space where I was moving more regularly, where I was sweating and stuff. And like, cause that trip, I was like, I am exhausted. I can't, I'm struggling. And that's not how I'm used to living life. Like, I'm just used to being able to do things. And I feel like that's something that we can acknowledge or not acknowledge because we're not doing them, right? Like if I hadn't gone on that trip with the kids to go hiking, I would not have known that I was in this kind of space necessarily, right? I don't know when it would have come to my attention, but I'm just thankful that it did, and I took it, right? Like, so this is me being able to pay attention to my body. This is something that is important. This is also why I teach what I teach. I teach women to be more in tune with their bodies. I teach people to understand their bodies better, the places that their bodies should go, the space that you should be able to take up and move and all that, right? That's important. That is important for us. The closer you are to yourself and the more centered you are and the less disassociated you are, you can really see where you need to be, right? You can see who disrupts your nervous system. You can see how people are not right to be a part of your life. You can acknowledge yourself a lot better, which leads to my divorce. So I was getting better while he was getting worse health wise. And my health, like I said, wasn't like crazy out of whack. I just felt those things. There were some things, were some issues, and cleared up from me figuring it out, right? And me treating my body better. That's what I always say: treat your body better. You will get there. You will figure it out. Um, and which is funny because somebody asked me a while ago, like, oh, well, do you feel like it's somebody that does love themselves and is just like wildly overweight, unhealthy, and treating themselves that way? No. You might love whatever it is that you're doing. You might love the way your life is going. You might be very comfortable with that, but that's not necessarily loving you and yourself. Um, hey Patrick, thank you so much. Um, right? And so and I know that because it is not about diet. I never tell anybody that I don't teach weight loss. I don't teach weight loss. I don't do weight loss. Weight loss is not my thing. So if you followed me for weight loss, you followed the wrong page. If you followed me for confidence, if you followed me to love yourself, if you followed me to learn yoga, those are great reasons. If you followed me for weight loss, you're in the wrong place. Go somewhere else. She said with love, like it's just not me. It's not the space that I inhabit. My health is not related to weight loss. I have no weight to lose. I move so much. I do so many things. I eat well for my body. This is what my body's supposed to look like. um and I know that I've done too much now for this to not be true, right? Am I more toned than I was years ago before I started yoga? Absolutely. I own that 100%. That is also very important to understand. Your body will tone and strengthen and all the other things, but once you have reached a space where, like, yes, this is the way my body is supposed to operate, this is a good balance, that's what your body's supposed to look like, right? And people can take and make whatever choices they want. Like somebody told me, because I used to have a goal. I used to have the goal of getting rid of my rolls on the side of my body. I just don't care anymore. um I used to have that goal, and somebody said, like, oh, well, lifting will do that. Like if you lift, which is, I've seen it happen for people. Absolutely. um but I will say that, being that, like, I've been at the same weight for years with my body looking different, this is the weight my body's supposed to have. Um, and so I can acknowledge, like, all right, yeah, that's right for somebody. It's not necessarily right for me. Shout out to you, Big Dave. Thank you so much. Um, so and I know that for myself. So, like, those are choices. I have close friends that lift and lift all the time and love it and this, that, and the other. More proud of y'all. It's not for me. Um, And there are also some people that, no matter how good you want life to be for them, how much you want to do, how much you want to help them out, if they don't want to make those changes, they won't. Cue my divorce, right? So I was in a space where I was losing weight. I was intentionally eating, I guess, more strictly, right? Like a lot of baked foods, right? Things like that, roasted, oven roasted things. Cause it's, one, for me, it's low maintenance. And I'm super low maintenance when it comes to cooking. Like, I make good food, it's just low maintenance. But at the same time, it was also a matter of saying, like, I want, um, I want to be at a calorie deficit because this is what I'm doing. That was intentional at the time. Now it's just a matter of maintenance and living my life, right? I go out a lot, especially here in New York, because I have my friends are here. My life is here. I like to go out. I like to do things. And so in that space, to find balance here at home, I don't eat like that. I try not to, like, I try to eat a lot lighter, and, like, so I can balance it out. It's all about balance, right? I move, I do yoga all the time. My mats stay rolled out. No matter where you have seen me live, my mats stay rolled out. And that's just what it is. Like, this is just how I operate. So I move a lot, I do a lot of yoga, and it helps me stay centered. If I feel like there's challenges doing poses that I know how to do, listen, I'm out of practice. I should be on it more. Or, like, why does my body feel this way? It also has helped me understand a lot more, like, why does my body feel this way? Understanding hormonal shifts throughout the month and things like that. Like, those are real. Um, and when I think about making that change to say like you're not taking care of your health and understanding that it is not my job to take care of any adult person's health, um that helped me separate much more easily than anything else, because if you're going to sit here and not take care of yourself, you don't care about your family, you don't care about the people around you, you don't care that they are going to have to take care of you at a level that is going to be embarrassing for you, that is going to be problematic for them in their life. You don't care. Now, you get into a car accident and it, just some things happen. Things happen. Like, I'm not saying that we want any of that, but it's like, yes, in sickness and in health, something happened here. But if you're choosing, consistently choosing to not do things to take care of yourself, to make things worse so that you're in the hospital all the time, you're receiving treatment, you are becoming more and more dependent upon the people in your life when you are a whole adult, right? Children, when they are born, one, you choose to have children for the most part, God willing, you chose it, right? They become less dependent. They grow, they get bigger, they get older, they get stronger, they become less dependent, they become more independent. As you become old, right? Again, you go down that slope, you get more dependent because you are elderly. Between those times, take care of yourself. What are you doing? Hey, what's up, Christian? Um, that's what happened with my mom and stepdad, right? He stopped taking care of himself and she got tired of that BS. Yes? Is that what you're saying? Because I've seen it, especially now. So running retreats and stuff, right? I've seen it so many times that like these women who are older, that they're in their 50s, 60s, they're living well, they're taking care of themselves, and they're like, yeah, no, I divorced my husband, or I just don't hang out with him anymore. We live very separate lives. We're not in we don't, he sleeps in the basement, I sleep upstairs. And there's there's all types of things that I've seen the story play out, and I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't stick with that. Praise the Lord that I got out. So yeah, if you are not taking care of yourself, you are creating a space where other people are going to have to take care of you. And then like I've seen it happen so many times now where like the nerve of people to put themselves in this situation and then be embarrassed that other people have to take care of them. It can't be both. It can't be both. And especially with somebody like me. It can be both with somebody who you have gotten to like put under your thumb, that yes, they will do anything you say and like they're just gonna shut up about it and whatever. Not with Saisha. Not I. I just can't do it. I can't. Now if like I said, if something happens to you, that's different. But like choices, you made these choices. What is it? Oh no, the consequences of your actions. Like, I can't do this. I can't do it with you. Um so that when I decided I was getting divorced, I really did. I put in a lot of time. I put in a lot of effort. I asked for counseling. I did this. I did that. There was a lot of steps taken. I am not somebody that's just like, all right, well, I didn't like the way you chewed. Well, no. I also, at this point in life, will not marry or date somebody that I don't like the way they chew. I, mm-mm, we're done. Immediately done. Anyway, um, but if I something trivial, right? Especially we're in a relationship and something trivial happens, I know we're gonna work it out. We're gonna talk. We're gonna have a conversation. If you don't want to talk, you don't want to have the communication. Now that's another problem. We're in a space where the communication is just out the window because you don't want to participate in it. All right. Well, if you threw the communication out the window, you also threw the relationship out the window. That wasn't me. That wasn't me leaving. You checked out. You're gone. Because I'm always going to talk about it. I'm always going to talk about the hard and awkward thing. I am always going to bring it up, and you're going to find it uncomfortable. Ugh. Oh well, right? Charlie Kindy's way. I might have said that wrong, but thank you for the gifts, babe. You're the best. So so in that space, like I said, I had to take the time to separate. I left the house and I came back. Like I went through the turmoil. I went through the back and forth. I went through but this is supposed to be my husband, but this is supposed to be the father of my children, but we're supposed to be together forever. But I committed. I went through all of these thoughts. And you know what? None of them mattered. I needed to be out. But when I went through my breakup last year, that was a conversation that I had with a lot of people, right? That it's like, it's hard to let go, it's hard to move on. Like, shout out to you for leaving, shout out to you for this. And I was like, yes, that's great for me, but like, we didn't have children, we didn't own property. It was a matter of this last year I filed married, and this year I filed single. Like, there was really nothing else, right? And it's and the paperwork and so I got a divorce during the pandemic. That was a lot. It was slow, it was a waiting process. I am free. um and I know a lot of people in that space, like, that happened, like the pandemic divorces. I was one of them. I'm a statistic. It is what it is, right? I had to choose between staring down the barrel of 24/7 in a situation that I was going to be hurt and crying and upset and gone the whole, like, I just wasn't going to be there. And then I was like, no, I need to do this. I need to go, right? So this was in 2020. I got divorced from my ex-husband. If you haven't been around that long, then you wouldn't know. It's fine. 2020 really though is when this blew up, right? When the social media life really became like a huge thing, because because of the pandemic and everybody being home. I had already had like a decent following on Instagram. TikTok existed? Question mark. But it blew up here. It just was a matter of not getting, not understanding where I was going, but just trying something, right? And I went from trying and posting and just kind of sharing stuff. Yeah. So Tia, that's exactly what we're talking about right now. Thank you for the gifts. Just a deep dive into me and the history of my life, how I've ended up being in this space and holding the spaces that I do. Um, and so when thank you, when I decided, thank you, Ladybug, to get this divorce, I said to myself that, like, it was gonna be about me. And it was so nice. Let me tell y'all, it was so nice to get a divorce during the pandemic, because then nobody could really bother you about it. And everybody still knew, right? Because like, we're at home every day, all day. You don't see him at home with me, you don't see me at home with him. We are not together any longer. Um, and I didn't really have to tell anybody anything until it came down to like our anniversary time towards the end of the year. Hey, darling, how are you? Um, right. And so that was nice, because and like, honestly, that was when people kind of came to my side, like, hey, you good? What are you thinking? And I got to tell those people, like, hey, tell anybody you think that would give me a happy anniversary message. I need you to tell them that's not a thing. You need to shut it down for me if you think they might. And they were my guardian angels. They're people that are literally, I still love so so much. They are my closest people, to this day, for a reason. People that I see as confidants and vice versa. So I'm thankful for them every single day. And there are people that you'll see me out with here in the city. Like, these are my genuine friends. And I appreciate it. I appreciate having those people in my life. And there's something there that, just like last year when I had that breakup that most of you probably know about, right? I sharing, right? This is part of the learning of sharing. What's going on will allow people to help you. Advocating for yourself allows other people to advocate for you as well. Um, I jumped though. Let's take it back. So 2020, like I said, I got the divorce. I was living by myself. I had to set up my space to teach yoga. And that was the first time I brought yoga home, right? And because I was teaching in gyms, I was teaching at school. I got to teach my students and mostly my staff, to be quite honest. I got to teach some staff members and some parents yoga at the high school where I was working at the time. It was fantastic. It was a lovely experience. It was great. I appreciated being offered that space, and being able to hold that space. And in that time, this grew. So I started taking, when we were home, because I taught high school, we were home for so long. I started taking online private clients, which I really, soon you will see a shout out to one of my clients that I've literally had since 2022, 21, maybe 21. I think, yes, because it was before we went back to school, 2021, till now. Like we still work together. She has gone to several of my retreats. She is continuing to attend my retreats. She will be in Colombia. And this is a person that I have been able to work with for so long that she's in a completely different space, and the things that she does, we are amazed with her growth all the time. And I get to call that out. I guess to say, remember, you would never have done that with me before. Or you never thought this was possible. You were not strong enough for this before. And look at you now. I get to have those moments with her, and I'm blessed to be able to hold that space. And she is super thankful and has hooked me up with other clients and friends um and other work. And this, right? This is it. Like the growth that we get to make, the conversations when we are vulnerable about the things that we need and the support that we need, people can show up for us. And I got to show up for her in that space. Um, and so, not, this is, bleh. This is kind of where I started to find who it was that I was speaking to. A lot of people look at me either as like a peer in age, or a lot of my clients and a lot of my audience, honestly, is a woman that is older than me. Professional women, women that have run their careers, maybe they have degrees as well, they have families, some of them. And maybe it's like you're not, and that's why you see me as an example too, that you don't have kids, you don't have a husband, neither do I. But either way, these are women that have accomplished so many things and worked so hard to be in the spaces that they're in. And then they're like, but I feel so disconnected from my body. I'm not flexible, and not even like, I don't feel flexible enough. Like I feel stiff, I feel tight, I feel uncomfortable also with my body. Monique, thank you so, so much. Right. I feel uncomfortable in my body. I feel uncomfortable in my clothes. I don't feel beautiful. I don't feel these things. And they see me as a person who kind of got out before they got to that space, right? And I see it too. Just like I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was. I know somebody here on TikTok was talking about like their stepmom, their mom and their stepdad, right? She got out. You see it. Sometimes you see it and you get out, sometimes you don't, right? And there's really no telling. It's not like there's a specific path you should be taking, so don't ever take it that way. I never want people to try to compare themselves to me in that space. It's just a matter of saying like, I'm going to put my foot down and I'm not going to deal with this. And I feel that way about a lot of things, and I am quicker to act than a lot of people. And I know that, and that's exactly why I get to do this. This is not a job for everybody either. um, and so, talking to women, talking to people about the spaces that they inhabit, the spaces that they take up, and the way they would like to take up space differently, which is important, right? If you feel like, I don't like the way my life is going because of this, or this person is a heavy person in my life, or dealing with this situation, I don't have any reprieve from it. This is always why I suggest yoga, right? If you are the kind of person like me, like if you wake up with the teleprompter running, right? Like the words, the things you got to do, the names, the places, the calendar, the schedule, whatever it is on your mind, like I have implemented this year intentionally, um doing some guided meditation in the morning, first thing in the morning, just starting it, letting somebody else talk to me, letting the voice run through while I just kind of calm down and focus on that, instead of getting up right away and getting on my phone or getting on emails or whatever. And then heading to my mat, or maybe it's both. If I get up and out of the bed, it's cold, so I just kind of take a minute. But getting out of bed, getting onto the mat, and letting it run, right? Kia, thank you so much, Kia. And thank you for the new follows. Um, right. So taking that time for myself has been good for me this year. And listen, I got there this year and I'm still not quite there, right? It's definitely not every day. And it doesn't have to be, right? But it is consistent, and that is something that I'm seeing as a positive for me. But years ago, that's not something that I did. So when I got my divorce in 2020 and I had that time to myself, like that time to myself was such a blessing. Especially because like, so it can be kind of hard when you get out of a relationship, when you get from under somebody, you're trying to get on top of somebody else, right? Like Like sometimes that feels like the way you need to go. And in 2020, when we were kind of stuck by ourselves, right? Um, that wasn't, I mean, you could choose that if you wanted to, but I didn't have anybody to jump to. I literally was married the other day, right? So I didn't have anybody like that in my life. And so it was a matter of like, honestly, I'm alone and I need to be alone. And I'm supposed to be alone right now. And I have to accept that and I have to take it and I have to push that. Beth, please, Beth said, please share a meditation playlist if possible. I can do that. I already have, where do I have my music playlist? I have my Spotify. I no, I don't. That's a lie. Okay. Zero, are you on the live? Can we add my Spotify playlist to my links? Um, hopefully. Um, hopefully. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Of course. Um, user with a lot of numbers. Thank you. Thank you. um, and thank you for the BB girls. So, yes, I can do that. But I yeah, I will add that to my links page on my website. I'll add my Spotify because I have my yoga music playlist. I have a motivational playlist and I have our podcast, my Black on the Mat podcast. I We have a playlist there as well that has kind of a mix of mantra music and like vibey yoga music, but I'll add in some meditations there as well. That's not a problem, Beth. Thank you. And Beth, for real, send me a message because I don't know if Zero's in here. I can do that. I'll do it. um, but okay, so yeah, from there, and I think that that's Kia's question, right? For your first tips for young yogis, this was at that point in time, I was just developing my home practice, right? So even though I had been practicing for years, even though I knew what I was doing, right, that was still me developing my home practice. And 2020 was the time when a lot of people were developing their home practice for the first time, really. And in New York, we ain't got no space. Um, so we were figuring out where I could put down my mat. Risa, thank you so much, Risa. Um, when I was trying to figure out where to put down my mat, where to find space, where I wasn't gonna smack into a wall or something. So finding space, I think, is the very first thing. And it doesn't have to be the most amazing, immaculate space. You don't have to clear out an entire room. It doesn't have to be on a cloud somewhere next to a mountain. Like just clear enough space for your mat and to move a little bit. And I think owning that space and maintaining that space is like such a valuable thing to do for your practice. That is the way you get um to do it more, right? Because like, oh, the space is here. I can do it. There's nothing in your way. You're removing the obstacles. And then you can say, okay, wait, no, I really need to do this. And then set up a time, right? So that was the thing in the pandemic. That was a lot for people. We don't have a routine now. We're home. And that was the space where I was trying to like get people to understand, like, one, come to class, schedule classes. Like I still teach online Saturdays at 10 a.m. I don't have the heavy schedule that I used to have then. I used to teach multiple classes a week. And before the pandemic, I was teaching like 4 classes a week in 3 different places. And on top of being a full-time school teacher. So I went through that time and I was working and I was working and I was working and I was working and I had to do so much yoga because, one, it was a part of my work, which I'm thankful that a part of my work was also movement. Um, but also, right, like I needed it to ease off the stress. I remember one of my coworkers asking me one day after school, like, or as we were leaving or something like that. She was like, "Saisha, I have no idea how you do this. How do you leave school all day and then go teach?" Right? And like, one, it is a matter of the shape that I'm in. This is the thing. To maintain this, yes, it takes your body being in a certain shape. And that was where I told you I didn't like the shape my body was in. I was like, I need to lose it. I need to release some of this because this is extraneous and it's holding me back. I don't have that extra weight on me. Moving around and doing these other things is not that difficult for me, right? And I obviously, if you have other health issues and things impacting you, impairments, whatever it may be, obviously there are issues. However, I do feel like if you really want to start yoga and you're like, but I have one of these things, like this is specific to me, start with one-on-one sessions, right? Starting with one-on-one sessions is going to give you the specific feedback that you need for your body, for especially a certified teacher like myself, right? To have knowledge of the ways the body works and things that are going on. Yeah. um it is a matter of finding the right teacher for you in that, right? Acknowledging somebody that can acknowledge the space in your body. And I'm saying this with all the respect. Just because it's a big girl, you feel like you like her body, or somebody skinny, you feel like you like their body or whatever, so you want them to be your teacher. That is not a qualifier. And even me, I may not be the right teacher for you. I'll accept that. I still love you. It's cool. Finding somebody that, like I said, is certified. If you want to do in person, obviously find somebody in your area. Um, if you want to work online, I would love to work with you, but there's also a million other teachers. Like, find the right person that makes sense for you. I love it for stress and to help manage the other things. Absolutely. And Deborah asking the question, where can I get some cute yoga clothes? So there is like I've done a few partnerships with like Aloe, with Shein. There's plenty of places. It's honestly finding a fit for you, right? Like, it depends on if you want more compression. The Nike leggings that I worked with them in 20, let's say three, they those feel really nice. They have no compression, they're just really smooth. So like, it really depends on what you like. I always say go to Marshalls and touch stuff. I say I feel the same way about getting a yoga mat. Go to Marshalls and touch stuff. Do you like this? Does it feel good? Stretch it, try it out. Same thing with yoga mats, blocks, whatever, right? If you can touch it, it's valuable for you to find that. And then even if it's just like you find the one, okay, then look for more like that. But I'm never gonna tell you like just go spend your money on a bunch of bullshit. Never. Um, I have I have some things in my Amazon on my Amazon storefront that they're cute. I like them. I like the way they move, the movement level in them. Thank you, Debbie. Oh, Deborah, I'm sorry. Right. And I like the way they move. I like the way they fit my body. You can check my Amazon store. Same thing for like if you are looking for mats or props or things like that. I do have those things available, but I never tell anybody like just go spend all your money. You don't know what you want yet. So I try to present some options, but it really is up to you. Um, and so in that time, I started those partnerships. I started, doing more of this, doing more content creation, teaching more online. And that was how honestly this has come to pass. I have met a lot of people. I have made a lot of connections. And like honestly, right now, this is the time that since the end of last year, since coming back to New York, I have been on my networking game, y'all, right? I've been trying to meet people. I've been out. I've been attending things. I have been making connections with other business owners, with other Black female entrepreneurs specifically, but also just entrepreneurs and business people and people in corporate, and honestly anybody that I felt like could be a valuable connection, because we are in a time where it's who you know, not what you know, right? Because like I have 30 credits over my master's degree in a field that I don't participate in anymore. So whatever, right? Like I know plenty. It is more so about like who I can be connected to, who can show up for me, who can advocate for me, who can get my name into a room on purpose, right? And so that's part of the reason why I always say if you're looking for a way to support me or any other creator, any other business owner that share the lives, share the posts, share the content, share the things, right? So something else for beginner yogis, I have an entire beginner yoga series on YouTube that is free, short videos. There's a half an hour that starts on the floor, right? If you feel like you can't get up from the floor, do it on your bed. Um, if you don't like that I'm getting rid of your excuses, you're probably not ready. That's just what it is. But people have said and commented on my YouTube videos, I don't even have to look at it anymore. Thank you. Thank you, Storm. Right. I don't even have to look at the video. I don't have to watch you. The things that you say are very clear, and that's on purpose. That yes, and thank you. So I sell the hoodies, I sell the t-shirts, I sell this beautiful, comfortable, squishy pillow. This is a new cozy addition for the winter. And then there'll be a new bathing suit line out. The one from last year is going to end soon, and the new line will be out for 2025 in the spring, right, headed into summer. And my girls that are coming to Columbia are also getting their own special edition bathing suit. That's just what it is. Hey Willie, happy Thursday. um right, so this is just what I do. This is I produce these things now, right? That along with like me taking this time and figuring out who I am also led me to journaling. Not only does it lead me to journaling, it led me to creating my own journals, right? So I have my gratitude journal, I have a confidence journal that was special edition created for my last retreat in October, but is now for sale. For now it's sale, it's bring it back, it is now for sale. You can get the paperback version, and you can get a digital version if you're a digital person. PG says, "Never trust a woman with a thigh tat." You don't have to trust me. I don't know you. So, anyway, um, I created this space where I pay attention to. You like that? Um, I pay attention to how I feel. I pay attention to my body. I pay attention to what makes sense for me. And that helps me feel grounded. That helps me understand. This is part of the reason why I created that free YouTube page. Um, are there any journals for men? So, one, I mean, it's a journal. This one is blank. So, it's for anybody. Well, it's not blank because it's mine, but it's blank. And I, as much as I love you, Willie, I don't really serve men. That's just what it is. My audience is women. That is something that I would consider. It might have to be a collab of some sort, but I see where you're going, and I don't mind supporting the audience as needed. So I'll consider that. But and there is some imagery that popped up immediately in my head that I could use. So maybe things that I've used before. So that's a possibility, right? I have mugs, I have cups, I have all the things. And I have them on purpose. I want to be able to, this, if this is how you support, then this is how you support. Because maybe you're not meant to be on a retreat with me yet, or I'm not going where you want to go. However, with that being said, the Brazil retreat in July is co-ed, right? So you can come yourself, you can come with your partner, you and you'll save a little bit per person because a double is less expensive than a single. Um, unless y'all want singles and you need a little bit of time together and apart. Okay. You could do that too. Oh, there's balloons. Was that a gift? I don't know how that works. That was crazy. Um, but yeah, so Brazil, July, that is the next retreat that is that does have spots that are open. I am planning to release some domestic retreats for the year. So if you are interested and you're looking for that, please make sure you are on my mailing list. You can go to my website and add your name to the retreat interest form. And and you'll be the first to get the information. I emailed out about Brazil, so those people got that first as well, right? It's a matter of serving the people that that make sure you're there, make sure you're on the list, your name is included in the number, right? And I just try to make sure I hold that space always. I was going somewhere from there. So yeah, I started doing the journals, and I will say this: journaling definitely saved me in my last relationship. Having things written down when you are questioning your memory, when you're being gaslit, um, when things like that are happening, it is super helpful to have a point of reference. And so I have a decent memory about certain things, but I don't have the best memory. And I'll admit that. There are things that I have blocked out from my childhood. I'm 100% sure about, right? Um, that popped up, but it is what it is. right? This is why we go to therapy. This is why we, learn ourselves more. This is why we do what we do, and why we, what healing is. Anywho, right? So being able to go back to reference that this was said. Not only was this said, this was said on this date. And so now you're saying something very different. You're saying the opposite. You're saying a different situation. Like those things rang out, right? And it was like, no, I'm not questioning myself. I'm 100% sure about this, because why would I have written it down? Why would this be here? And so, like I said, that knowing that and leaning into that for me was exactly why I said, you know what, but I need to help people process. Because I started coaching, and I started doing business coaching and confidence coaching, coaching people in their wellness processes, right? Because like I said, that I realized who my audience was, and I still fine tune that and adjust it as I go along, because you see what you see, you meet who you meet. um but they mostly, like I said, these women who are a little bit older, a little more experienced, and they have come to a space where they feel so lost in themselves. They lost who they were. They lost who they were without being a mom, without being at their job, right? Who actually am I? What do I actually like? I don't even remember anymore because of the life I've been living. This is why we have these conversations. Yes, let's talk about it. Let's ground you. Let's actually find out where this space lies. Where are you supposed to be? Um where do you feel good? How do you set up your life in a way that does feel good to you? Right? This is why we adapt these processes and why we get there. I intentionally created this space. Um and so when it came time to leave, when things hit the fan, when the lies, oh no, when the lies um were clear, right? When things started getting uncovered and I was asking all the questions, it was like, no, this is very clear. You're lying. I have it. And I'm clear and I'm sure, and I'm not doubting myself in this decision. I'm not doubting myself about what I'm seeing, about what happened, because I was clear and I was honest with myself the whole time. I was able to say, yeah, no, this is exactly what happened, and this is exactly what fuck I'm not dealing with anymore. The traveling facialist, thank you, my love. I appreciate you. That was the time. Like I said, I put it in. I was like, no, this ain't gonna work. And so I knew from having that information, from collecting it myself, from owning it myself, from holding on to it myself, that no, this isn't a situation that I'm going to deal with anymore. And I was able to work my way out of it without flying off the handle, without flipping out. It was just a decision. It was a choice. I got to make the choice. And I think that's we're going to bring it in. That's exactly where I am now, right? Where my business is now. I have done a great job personally of following what is working and letting go of what is not. That has always worked for me. I don't see it stopping working for me. And I didn't betray myself for things that other people wanted or they put me in a situation for. I did not and will not betray myself for that. Right. So, I felt horrible ending the friendships, the relationships? Yeah, it's a terrible situation. I don't love it. I don't want to be here. But I I said to my friend the other day, my whoever my ex-husband was married to, as in the previous version of me, had to get hit by a bus. That was what it is. She had to be gone for me to be who I am right now. Right? For me to be this person that I am today, that person had to die. That version of me had to go. And that's just what it is. I can accept that and know that I'm still awesome. It's just a matter of that was not the space for me. That was not something I needed to hold on to or inhabit any longer, and I'm allowed to be awesome. And that's okay. And that version of me was the best version she could be at that time. And I believe that too. Right. We just kind of have to figure it out as we go along, which is what I teach people. This is what I give people as a part of the space that I hold. And it's very intentional. It is very, very intentional. Um, you have to go through it to get to the better place. Exactly, Joey. That's just what it is. And so that's what I do. This is why I create the spaces that I create. This is why I take women all over the world and we have amazing times. This is why anybody, male or female, can join me in Brazil. We are doing a cleansing, we are doing vinyasa, we are doing kundalini, we are doing amazing things. Um, and there's always going to be more to come. If you are here in New York, I am personally inviting you to Happy Cork Brooklyn on February 8th. There's a limited number of spots there. I think there's only 12 left, maybe 11 left. And it's going to be a great yoga and intention setting session. There will be a little bit of a elevation happening with some infused tea, some wine, some sips from Happy Cork. And that's going to be a great space too. So Joey sent me a message so I can send you Brazil information, but it is on my page, right? And other than that, like I said, I have the journals, I have the merch, I have the content, I have the videos. The part of yoga that you're looking for, I definitely provide in some way, shape, or form, but it's totally up to you how you want to do this, how you want to be a part of it. Okay. So if you have more questions, you can always ask. But I am gonna close out on YouTube and and on Instagram. On TikTok, there's still some people here. If you have questions, drop the questions. Um, but I am gonna close out. Yeah, you can definitely come to Happy Cork. And as always, have a happy Thick Thigh Thursday. I hope you have a wonderful evening.